The 16th edition of the Asia Cup is all set to get underway in Pakistan and Sri Lanka for the first time. In the tournament's history, it's being held in a hybrid model, with matches to be played across Pakistan and Sri Lanka, of course. 6 teams are taking part in the 19-day event, during which as many as 13 matches are to be held in Sri Lanka, and the defending champions are in the Group B alongside Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Nepal and Pakistan faced off in the first match in Multan, and Pakistan made a short work of their Asia Cup debutantes, Nepal. Well, we have more event and action coming up. We have 2 of the very eminent panelists joining us. One of them is a very senior journalist, Mr. Harpal Singh Bedi, and also joins us is a veteran cricketer, a legendary cricketer from Zimbabwe, Christopher Mofofu. But first of all, I'd like to go on to Mr. Harpal Singh Bedi. Mr. Bedi, what do you make of this entire tournament, Asia Cup, just before the World Cup? Do you think it's a big dress rehearsal before the big tournament sets in? Your views?
Bangladesh, Afghanistan are playing in the World Cup. So they are a good thing, and it is conditions are same, like whether it is being played in Pakistan or Sri Lanka, and the condition will be same in India also. I think this is a good curtain raiser for the World Cup for the South Asian team. Remember one thing, when you are insisting on it should be called South Asian team, because they belong to South Asia, not to Asian. It is not an Asian continental team. They are South Asian team, and it is a good opportunity for them to practice, train before they take on big teams in the World Cup. So I think it's a good curtain raiser.
It's a good curtain raiser, of course. Let's look at how the world views this tournament just before the World Cup. Of course, Christopher, if you can hear us, thank you for joining us from Zimbabwe. Christopher, welcome to the show. How excited are you for the Asia Cup from the African continent, considering that 2 of the best teams are going to be playing here? Your views?
Definitely, I'm looking forward to this Asia Cup. It's always exciting. I'm always looking forward to seeing all the best teams in Asia, clashing it out and doing their best to win the cup. And for me, it's going to be really amazing even to see other small teams that, I still believe that will bring some upsets. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing. We know we've got India, we've got Pakistan, we've got Bangladesh, but sure, guys, have to be careful about these small teams that I'm definitely sure that they'll pull some upset in this Asia Cup. So I'm definitely one of those people that is excited to see these games starting, and definitely going to be glued on my TV, waiting for quite a, I can say the smaller teams. I'm one of those people who's always behind the underdogs. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one.
Well, Chris, you just mentioned...
Tokyo.
You just mentioned that you're going to be watching your television screen with great interest. You've played in Sri Lanka, you played against the Bangladesh. How will the pitch turn out in today's match? And then we will go on to Mr. Harpal Singh Bedi to get his view about the clash of 2 of the big teams in Asia. Your views, Christopher, on the second question? Yes.
Yeah, talking about the pitches in Sri Lanka, we've watched quite a few. I watched quite a few games in the past few days where we had Pakistan taking on Afghanistan. Yes, there were quite a few games where the runs were coming a little bit thick and fast. So it might, I'm sure, it depends on which grounds you're playing at. But, I've seen some grounds like in Palekele where you get some good bounce for the seamers, but the runs will still, flow a little bit. I haven't seen quite some 10 on those pitches, but, you never know, since these games are going to be played, in one place and different teams. And, I'm sure there might be quite a bit for bowlers, but, I saw that a few runs, quite a lot of runs were scored during the games against Pakistan, against Afghanistan. So it's just going to be one of those where teams have to apply themselves, and then, I think runs will still flow there. So in terms of assisting bowlers, at the moment also the game of cricket, it's all about batters giving it to the bowlers, and we haven't found a lot of assists in these games. But we've got some clever bowlers whom I'm sure that they'll really be really looking forward to the challenges of this Asia Cup.
Interesting point there, Chris. I'd like to go on to Mr. Harpal Singh Bedi. Bedi Saab, the more important part here is that the playing condition, the pitches are exactly more or less like what the Indian pitches are. The condition is almost like the same. Do you think it's a great way to start the India-Pakistan run-up to the big match? Do you think it's going to be as exciting as what we see on paper and the excitement in the fans' mind and heart? Your views, sir?
I think I agree with our fellow cricketer from Zimbabwe that upset is possible. Anything is possible in sports. Not only in cricket, anything is possible in sports.
Right.
But having said that, I don't think it will be greatest possible upset if India-Pakistan doesn't reach finals. But the whole tournament revolves around them. Take out these two teams, there will be no Asia Cup. So one thing is certain.
Very interesting, sir. Very interesting point you made. But in the last 40 years of the history of this tournament, India and Pakistan haven't reached out to the finals.
I agree. I'm saying I said take away these two teams from the tournament, out of the tournament.
Absolutely.
If they are not playing the tournament. If they are playing and if they do, that's a different thing. I'm not saying that you are right. You can come out with the statistics that India has not won it so many times and Pakistan has not. But then they played. Either they played in final or they played between themselves. So they keep a tournament alive. The whole tournament basically revolves around these two teams.
Absolutely.
Even in World Cup in Asia or India will be revolving around these two teams. What I think is upset is possible. Anything is possible. We have seen India losing to Bangladesh in the World Cup in the West Indies. We have seen Pakistan losing to Ireland in World Cup in West Indies. So upsets are there. But given the nature of this tournament at the moment, the way it has been planned like India and Pakistan has been put in the same pool. Now,
yes.
It is very interesting. Other people that means they assume, and assumption is right, 80% assumption is right, 20% is may be upset, that these two teams, both India and Pakistan, will play on second. Even if one team wins, that means they expect both the teams will qualify for support. Obviously, Nepal will be beaten by India also. So they will reach the final. Again, they will play. The whole thing is financially. It is on financial model. It has nothing much to do about cricket. It is how much money you can squeeze from these two matches. India-Pakistan, the league, and Indian-Pak. With the assumption the Indian-Pakistan will reach the final. So I think at Asia Cup at the moment, having said before that this will be good practice and better reason for that 4 or 5 teams who are going to be World Cup. The idea or the reason behind this tournament, after all this hullabaloo, whether they should be held or not, whether they should be held in Pakistan or whether they should have been Dubai or somewhere else. But the whole thing, when the Asian Cricket Council agreed to hold this, was that financially viability. And then suddenly that these two matches will be enough for them to run the organization, run the Asian cricket for another one or 2 years.
So are you excited in the next? Yeah, go on, sir. Are you excited in the next 2 months? India is going to face Pakistan almost 3 occasions.
No, let me tell you, too much of cricket, India and Pakistan also will lose its charm. I don't know why, because it is now financially so viable, so everybody is building up that this is the greatest clash and this is the greatest clash on the planet. But if you have too many of seeing till this that relationship came to an end or otherwise broken, India and Pakistan used to play very regularly. And I was in Pakistan in 2004. Now, a lot of people have written today that even school matches attract more crowd than Pakistan and Nepal. I was in Multan.
Yes.
When Pakistan scored 300 runs. And there were more journalists in the stadium rather than the crowd. So, and then there was later on, India went to Pakistan again, where the opening wicket partnership was created in Lahore. There is hardly anybody to see. So, now people are more inclined toward T20, but how much biryani you can have? Every time you cannot have it. So it is good if the 3 matches are India-Pakistan in next 2 months, they say okay. But too much of insistence that only India and Pakistan can produce excitement. Because of our rivalry, because of the hype built by, and deliberate hype. Remember one thing, that it is even the foreign media also deliberately build this up. It is we have not produced such great one or two matches in recent times. India Pakistan have produced excitement. Otherwise, you see it in Dubai when India lost to Pakistan 10-5. There is hardly an excitement. You take in England World Cup, there is hardly an excitement. So there was excitement in Melbourne where Virat Kohli got us victory. But overall, if you see in recent times, I'm not talking go back. If recent times, there is more hype than action. So hype is whether Babar Azam is great. Now, it is not a wrestling match. It is a cricket. Now, we have picked and choose. Virat Kohli is greater than Babar Azam or Babar Azam is greater than this. This never used to happen earlier. You play as a team. Cricket is a team game. Everybody has to contribute. You cannot depend on one or two players. Even if, so let's assume, one of the players which I mentioned scores century, but other fails, then what will happen to the team, be it Pakistan or India? So I think what you are saying, excitement is there, but excitement to the extent that it should produce a result. Like
Mr. Bedi, I'd like to just put in an anecdote of the great Tom Moody, the coach. He says, forget Ashes. India and Pakistan is the real deal. Would you like to disagree with him?
Definitely. See, the Ashes, if you're talking of Test cricket, Australia and England has proved that this Test series was any day better than any other Test series. Ashes, I don't know what Tom Moody went, if it's 50 over match or 20 over, okay, then people come and see. But in cricket, in Test terms, I think Pakistan stand no chance vis-a-vis. I'm talking of Test cricket.
Right.
I'm not talking of ODI or T20.
Right.
So if you are talking of Test cricket, it is I'm surprised when people start comparing in Pakistan, Australia, in England, Australia. Remember, yes, I'm talking of Test cricket.
Yes.
It is any day better. Then actually, what happens is in our play when we play Test, we do not play cricket. Our sentiments take over. Whereas they have sentiment, but they cricket. And this Ashes series, which is just concluded, has once again proved that as far as Test cricket is concerned, Test Ashes is concerned, nobody can beat us, England and Australia.
Well, that's an interesting point, but we'll move our focus on today's match, and I'd like to get in the former player from Zimbabwe who's played alongside Streak. In fact, he's opened the ball.
Chris also, Chris also about Test Ashes series. What is his view?
I'd love to ask him, but we'll fix our focus on today's match based on Bangladesh's history of winning their only ODI match against Sri Lanka in 2013 at Palakkale. Do you think Bangladesh will win today's match, considering there's so much of hype happening in Dhaka, Bangladesh and everything? The surround sound is high. Christopher, your view?
Yeah, talking about, they talk about history. History is always history. When you talk about history, you're talking about something that has come and passed. And, when you talk about that, they say that the last time Bangladesh beat Sri Lanka, in that 2013. But for me, with the way Bangladesh have, improved their cricket, they keep getting better in all the times. And, the squad that they have, they've got some experience, they've got some youth in them. So I'm sure, in today's match, I'm still rooting for Bangladesh to do well. Like I said, I'm always one of those people that always supports the, the underdog when it comes to these games. So I'm sure, and I'm pretty positive that Bangladesh is going to pull out something special out of this game. And also, when you're looking at Sri Lanka, they're really struggling with injuries, and top players are in their lineup out of this one. So I'm sure Bangladesh would do well in this game, in today's game, and pull a good win. And we just wait and see how it goes. But my money is on Bangladesh to beat Sri Lanka in this one.
Well, that's an interesting point that you want to make, that you want to put your money on Bangladesh, considering that we have their star batsman Litton out due to viral fever. Do you think it's still a potential threat to Bangladesh, considering they're down with one of the bigger scorers? Your view, Chris?
We're talking about Litton. Das, for me, he's a special player for Bangladesh, and he's one of those guys that has done quite well for the past few years, 2 to 3 years for Bangladesh. He's been positive. He brings positive vibes to the team, and he scores runs quickly. So it will be could be a major setback if he doesn't play this today's game. But you know, they still have quite an amazing team. You know, like I said, they've got youth and experience in their camp. And you know, talking about Shakib, if you go Shakib in that team, you still got a proper gadget. You've got a proper asset, someone that is going to, you know, bowl for you, someone who's going to bat well for you. So, still, yes, it could be a loss for them not having Leighton, but you know, that gives another opportunity to someone who has been, you know, on the doors knocking. And like I say, they still have amazing talent in their team. Especially, I've been really pleased with their bowling lineup. You know, the how they've used. You know, Bangladesh was used to having these spinners who are doing well, but now they've got, you know, real world-class fast bowlers. You talk about the guys like Taskin Ahmed, Mustafizo. So they've got a good, you know, good bunch of cricketers there. So still, like I said before, that I see Bangladesh pulling out a good win here.
Well, interestingly, Sri Lanka also walks into the match with few of the absentees, including Hasaranga, Chamira and Dilshan Madhusunka and Leharu Kumara. So what do you think of the entire process where you have a team with 2 players down and the other team with the 4 important absentees? Your views, Chris, and then we move on to Mr. Harpal Singh Bedi for his conclusion of thoughts on today's match. Chris?
You know, for Sri Lanka, when you talk about these injuries, I always feel like, you know, it is a blessing. And you know, yes, it is an injury. It is great players that are not there, but that gives someone an opportunity, you know, to come out and perform. But it is, you know, one of the big challenges that Sri Lanka facing right now. Injuries, you know, something that you are not looking forward to getting. But I'm definitely sure that the ones that they have will do the job. But you know, Hasaranga, world-class spinner, and the way he has been batting in the recent concluded, you know, Lanka League, he was absolutely brilliant the way he bowled. So you're looking at that and saying, oh, how are they going to manage to, you know, to win these games? But you just have to use what you have, and I still believe that, you know, what they have is still special. But you know, not comparing with the Chamiras and the other guys that are not there. So, but you know, you still back them up they've got a good batting lineup, you still back them up to do well. But like I said, once again, I go back to that issue, I still back Bangladesh to win this one.
Well, Bedi Saab, your views on today's match between Bangladesh, Sri Lanka playing at Palakale Stadium, and your memories of their clash in 2013.
Not of much of memory, but what you have said, the both teams have injuries.
Yes.
And Sri Lanka has the advantage, they are playing at home.
Yes.
And over out of 13 matches which Sri Lanka and Bangladesh played, 11 has been won by Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And 2 which Bangladesh is won, they won in Bangladesh. And first 10 matches between these 2 teams, all the 10 matches were won by Sri Lanka. Having said that, was statistics. Second thing is, Sri Lanka is coming with some victories behind, whereas Bangladesh first time lost at home, but very difficult to beat them at home. They lost to Afghanistan also, series.
Yes.
So they won against Ireland. So they're coming back with all this injuries and the defeats, and to beat a team which has beaten them 11 times, and that too also on their turf, will be a difficult proposition. I'm not going to rule out, because both the teams on paper are equal strength because of the injuries. But my slight edge, or rather a big advantage to Sri Lanka because of home team. And this psychologically, they are much more stronger at the moment because they have beaten Bangladesh 11 times. Bangladesh goes into the business, they have nothing to lose because they have already lost 11 times. So if they lose 12 times, so how does it make a difference?
Correct.
That gives an advantage to Bangladesh that they have nothing to lose. They may put up a good fight. So interesting thing, this group is much more exciting because these two are, I think, are likely to be in the finals. Or rather, they try to be in the Super League because 4 teams have come.
Right.
And third is Afghanistan. So India, Pakistan from one group, and these 3 teams, out of 3 teams, 2 teams will be Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Afghanistan. 2 have to be in the Super League or whatever, semi-final, whatever you call it.
Absolutely.
So I think this is an interesting group compared to India, Pakistan, and Nepal.
Interestingly, we've just, before we wrap up this, our special show on Asia Cup, we just have time for one fan question, Bedi Saab. And this is a fan question from Bangalore by Karthik Shinoy. And he asks, do you think there are less upsets in a 50-over match as compared to 20 overs, considering what we've seen at the ICC qualifiers, where you had Netherlands and the other teams making it to the final dash and West Indies bowing out? Do you think there are... Yeah.
Every tournament, even in Grand Slam, you have upsets. There is not a less or more. Yeah, but 50 overs once, suppose you are giving a mention of, you are mentioning Netherlands.
Yes.
So these are exception. These upsets are expected. But in T20, if there are upset, there is no shock. T20 is meant to upset. The whole format of T20 is that it will upset any team, anybody, any team. It is not who is stronger at those 20 overs. In 50 overs, I think the cases or the number of upsets are lesser. And one or two, because Netherlands has created an upset, so we remember that. Otherwise, in T20, you don't even remember who upset whom.
Yes.
Barring India, Pakistan, forget about that. But otherwise, you are not sometimes surprised at who beat whom. Even if Netherlands beats England or Australia in T20, it will not be a surprise. But in 50 overs, it is a surprise. So there are less upsets. Yeah, upsets are there because in 60 over, when India won first World Cup, that was 60 over match. So we created upset. Upsets are a part of sports. Any game. Any team event or India is part of the game. But most likely, when you go into Grand Slam, you say Djokovic will win, will win, or Nadal will win. So if there is an upset, you remember that upset. But if in lesser tournament, you don't remember that thing. I think our friend who is from Bangalore, he has a point. He has pointed out Netherlands. But my reply will be, because he remembers there is a big upset, so he remembers Netherlands. In T20, he don't remember who upset whom.
Well, that's an interesting point.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.